So one of the big ideas, one of the big concepts, and really a huge pillar of this channel that we've talked about a lot is what you as a leader should be doing, whether it's in guild related matters and issues, whether it's in the raid, whether it's completely outside of the game, and we're talking about stuff in the office or issues that you're having with your job, whatnot. We've talked a lot about what you as a leader should be doing. And we had a series that I had on this channel, which is still up, where we talked about integrity. The idea that you as a raid leader, guild leader, boss, manager, team lead, supervisor, whatever the hell you are, that you have honesty and integrity, that you don't lie, that you don't tell half truth, that you always are fully open and honest, that you have the best of intentions. And because of this, when things happen, when there are issues, when there are concerns, and you have to speak, you have to say something, you give your word, your guild members and raid members and officers and employees and subordinates and all these things, they believe you because they know she doesn't lie. He tells the truth. She doesn't bullshit. She tells it like it is, and there's no fluff. There's none of this stuff. That they know that you have their backs, the best of intentions for the group, and that you're telling the truth. You're straight up honest. Now, with all that being said, there's an article that I saw floating around this morning. I thought it was really cool, and I wanted to share it with you guys, okay? So, in the United States, we had the president give out the State of the Union address, and we're not going to get political here, I promise, but he gave the State of the Union, right? This annual idea of, hey, how's the country doing, okay? And afterwards, there's a tweet that went out by an Air Force general, okay? So this gentleman is Air Force General Joseph Lengyel. I hope I'm not butchering that one. As a Marine, I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to make fun of this guy. But there was a picture that floated around where he had his ribbons on his breast pocket that were upside down. Now, some people have speculated that there's someone, subordinate way down the chain, somebody that's probably new to the Air Force, maybe an E2, E3, E4 that, has been in for a year or two that screwed up. However, that's not the problem. We don't really care about that. The issue is this gentleman was in the State of the Union address, sitting there with the Commandant of the Marine Corps, with, the Navy admirals, with other generals, with, etc. This guy was out in the open and his uniform was messed up. And instead of hiding it, instead of, trying to not say anything, he went to Facebook, he went to Twitter, and he said, look, here's a picture of me. It's screwed up. Let this be a lesson that no matter who we are, no matter where we're at, we need to be mindful of our uniform. This can happen to anybody, etc. And I think that that's a really cool thing, right? Because as a raid leader, as a guild leader, I make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. And I know everybody else does. But my thing is, if I'm going to call you out as a raider and go, look, you didn't do this, this, and this. You screwed up on that. You made this mistake. It would be completely unfair for me to not also call out myself. One of the things that I have done, we did this in Legion, and we will probably start doing it again. I'll start doing it again, is I look through the logs, and I create a private video on our guild's YouTube channel. And I share that out and I just go over stuff, right? So I go, okay, for this boss, Raider 1, you stood in fire, you messed up on this, you messed up on that, you did good on this, etc. Raider 2, and we go through this. Why do I do that? I do this because, one, it lets me go through the log. It forces me to go through the logs. I have to parse through the data. It's one of those things. It gets me practice, tweaking things and playing around with things, for the YouTube channel, right? So I can make videos and I get more practice and kind of test ideas. And it allows my raiders to get immediate feedback, right? We do a week's worth of raiding, and then in the weekend, I sit down, I go through the logs, I make these videos, and the raiders are able to see what is going on. And one of the big things is we want to point out, and we've talked about this, but we want to point out, and this is something that the raid group has agreed on, is actually their idea. Point out individual mistakes. No blanket statements, no, hey guys, we need to be better at this, but we go, Raider 1, you screwed up on this. Raider 2, you screwed up on that. When I do these things, and we're coming around full circle here, when I do these videos for the guild, I have to call myself out for things, right? I have to say, hey, I stood in fire on this too. It's something that I'm struggling with, something that, I'm messed up on. I need to do better. Now, I can use the excuse, well, I'm calling everything out. I can use the excuse, well, I'm the guild leader. I don't, I'm the raid leader. No. I screwed up. That is the burden of responsibility, right? Is not only do I have to do my job, whether it's tank, heal, DPS, I have to call things out. I also have to perform, right? I have to play at a level that is as competent as everyone else, and then some. And yes, we've talked about the idea that as a raid leader, as a guild leader, as someone who's calling things out and running a raid, that your performance is going to suffer a little bit, right? We know this. But I'm still expected to not stand in fire, to not die to stupid shit, to pre-pot, to make sure that everything in my rotation is good. I'm expected to perform just like everyone else. And when I screw up, I call myself out. And that's the right thing to do, right? That's the thing that you as a raider should be doing, is calling yourself out. Show the raid that you have the integrity to go, Raider 1, you screwed up. Raider 2, you screwed up. I screwed up on this. We need to fix it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Now, yes, if you continuously do it, like I say to my raiders, we need to make progress towards perfection. We're not going to be perfect that first time. We need to make progress towards it with every pull. If I am consistently guilty about doing something, that's when there's an issue. That's when we really need to evaluate things. But calling yourself out is a great way not only to set an example of what you expect others to do, but it shows the raid that you're not going to hide behind this. I'm the raid leader. I'm the guild leader. I'm an officer, so I don't have to. And that, maybe this isn't the mindset that people have these days. It used to be a very common, mindset when I used to raid way back when is, well, I'm the officer. I'm an officer. I'm the raid leader, so that's fine. And hopefully that's changed. Again, I've been in the same guild for, 12, 13 years now. So I don't know. Maybe my views are a little skewed, but I thought it was really cool that this Air Force general called himself out. Okay. Showed people that he screwed up, that he didn't check something, that he was willing to call himself out for something that he didn't do, because that should show people under him they should be calling themselves out and working to fix issues. And a big part of rating for me, a big, I don't want to say bonus, but something that really makes me think highly of you as a raider, is the idea that you can go, look, I screwed up on this. If I go, hey, what happened on this pull? And you go, I stood in fire. I screwed up, man. I wasn't paying attention. Cool. Thank you. I really respect your honesty there. And I've said that in raids in the past, and hopefully I'll continue to say it. But yeah, I thought it was really cool what this general did. Now, with all that being said, hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. If you did, you guys know what to do. If you didn't, let me know why. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.